I mean, most of them are, all of them actually are the free default sponsors. I wonder if part of that is because of these players' experience with them. These are all ones that you get immediately, second one, match one of any game of Spectre that you play. I also, as a Riker player myself, I'm happy to see Riker on both sides. But on this map specifically, there are a couple of really powerful lanes that the scan dart can be very, very useful. I'm already seeing, I believe the attackers might be setting up to get a default onto the B site, and their Riker scan dart scanning that entire main where we actually see STEAZE playing already. It is going to be really useful.
Yeah, having that wave scan come in, having those multiple pings go off, because even if it's destroyed, it still gives you intel, which is the big one. So we'll see who gets the initial pick here and how they have to play off this, but so far it seems a relatively chill opening, but you called it. B is going to be the play. We'll see the lineups come in and see what they can do here.
Yeah, already they know there's at least one person on the site, but they might not know that there's a second player playing on the green box in front of them. They've already used the dart, they're mauling the back of the site, and it is really good entries.
Yeah, we're seeing that smoke shift coming in as well, and oh man, that cross is absolutely moralizing if you're playing on defense on that B site. As we're seeing the rotation coming in now from Team STEAZE, going to look to try and play the retake. And again, one thing to note here is 4v3 in terms of the bodies that are remaining, but there is still, of course, that advantage. But all three players on both sides are still in play.
Well, they were up until now, and then TRUO sneaking in through the smoke only gets one more, but it's a 1 versus 2. Well, I couldn't even set that one up before it happened. I do want to call out the smoke shift. We saw that Morgan United smoke thrown out, and instantly a body inside of it. That is a secondary aspect of that ability that a lot of new players, myself included, don't really consider using, but it is such a powerful way to not only get people onto a site like that when you're entering, it's also so useful to create gaps in a defense and try and backstab people. So if you're playing against a Morgan United player, be very aware that suddenly there could very well be an enemy where you are not expecting them.
And the big thing there, too, is that ability hides the recall line. So normally, and you'll see this again if you're a new player coming in here to Spectre Divide, you'll see these trails of sort of energy or electricity sort of running across the ground. Those are the players throwing the pucks, moving the Spectre around with the duality, rather. And keep an eye out for that, because that is going to be a huge indicator of sort of how these rotations are coming in. But for that smoke shift ability specifically, you as the opponent cannot see it.
Yeah. It makes you want to check it with your face every time. But then if you do that,
maybe don't.
It's hard. But here on the second round, a very slow approach from the attackers, waiting to see if the defenders are pulling out any aggressive maneuver of their own.
One really quick, on mid from smart AIRA. Thing you to jump in to see that, to mention that was called out for the attackers here, is they're leaving one of their Spectres up on that elevated box at the entrance of B that actually is specifically there to spot out a flank that the defenders went for in mid, but I will let you get back to it because we see some action here.
Yeah, we're seeing a bit of a peek here on the B site. Flying around green boxes is absolutely key to also protect from the hallway, but here comes the push now from the attackers, holding this one angle and getting absolutely overwhelmed. Ooh, TRUO and AIRA doing some serious work here, and this is going to be the B site. Like I said, just overwhelmed. The second they decided to pull the trigger, it was just over.
Oh, you see this utility dumping from the Riker as well. Again, just more and more info, getting that little scan bot up ahead. And as you also saw from K2, drop their Spectre in the site to add some extra defense, kept the sniper outside, ended up pulling their unit back because now that it's planted and now that there's a flank, I think they've just lost their second unit there.
Yep. That was a big one. Good, coming in through the spawn there. But the turn, immediate response from STEAZE. And that's just it. Nicely done. And that's going to be 2 in a row there for the attackers.
I think something super interesting about this matchup with STEAZE and TRUO is that both of these players they're the only 2 players in the tournament whose most played sponsor is that Morgan United sponsor. And like, Cameron, you were mentioning earlier, what that opens up in terms of the ult throw where you're moving your Spectre with it, that really opens up a lot of flanks. These guys both love looking for those late round flanks, looking for kills using that, and they're going to be threatening those very often, both of them. So I think that's a really cool thing to watch out from both captains.
Yeah. I also want to identify the Trident, the burst fire AR that is in the tier 2 weapon system. is very powerful, very, very good if you can land those headshots, and we just saw it featured that last round.
Ooh.
But STEAZE with a quick opening.
TRUO maybe getting a little bit cocky there, and STEAZE saying, you know what, maybe not the start we're necessarily looking for here, but definitely swinging in here. We're seeing more of that traditional default, not the hard stack onto B necessarily. You can see that bot down as well here at the A site. It seems to be a little bit of a push coming in as Moore is able to pick up that additional kill, and wow, that has got shut down instantly.
Yeah, really good hold. A lot of utility utilized by the attackers. They still have a little bit left. You can see the wall remaining for AIRA, as well as, of course, the Twin Mend healing ability. But, of course, everyone that went in combat is eliminated, so, you know, nothing to heal anymore, unfortunately.
I have to say, the one thing I am impressed with from a lot of these players is the fact that, you know, they're not losing that Spectre sort of willy-nilly. The fact that all three of them are still up. So, yes, there technically been 3 kills going over to the defenders at this stage, but the fact is it's currently, right now, in this moment, still is, you know, in terms of holding angles, holding sight lines, the physical, tangible ability to shoot, it is a 3v3.
Yeah. AIRA staying up here in duck to try and catch a rotation out. You can see on the minimap the Zeus is being pulled back over to B. The time that it's been since that first hit, you would imagine the defenders would be aware of the possibility. Now that they've actually seen a body, it's going to be a hold, but a nice little catch out. This is going to stall out some of the rotations.
Yeah, the Zeus has been dropped here over on the other site, and it looks like AIRA might actually get picked up on that rotation as well. And that player lurking back on A. But that's just going to be the swing there. Lore picking up that final kill. And the defenders getting a bit of a read on the attackers here, able to hold their own, got the guns in their hand, and really brought that back. A nice solid play there. And again, Cam, to your point, the util dumps came in, but it just didn't feel like maybe trying to space things out. Seems like that initial rush on B, those first couple rounds had a lot of success, but A didn't quite play as clean.
Yeah, I mean, when you are teasing out your opponent like this, you want to mix up the momentum. And so mixing out like a more slower, we're going to get 1 elimination, 1 kill, we're going to take a little bit of area, versus 1 big clean hit, hoping to see if you can catch them off guard. It's not a bad thing to throw in there. But after that, it looks like they're deterred. They're going back to B. They found so much more success on this site. So if it's not broken, don't fix it. Of course, there's also a really good defense already set up here.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of potentially predicted this, and you can see, you know, the util coming down there to present the peek out, and actually a pretty aggressive defensive stance here from these defenders coming in. Let's see if they're able to pick up a pick. No, K2 getting that initial shot. That's not exactly what the defenders are hoping for.
No, but then again, Relium did try and go down hall to find a cheeky angle. That's a risky move with as many of these defenders outside of the B site. STEAZE's landing a nice couple of shots.
Ooh.
A 3rd headshot. Let's make it more. Let's absolutely take over this entire round, forcing the Zeus away. TRUO has found an opening through mid. They're going to be taking that angle through Banana, potentially to go mid to B. And it's somewhat equalized on lives.
Yeah, holding on not too bad here. They're poking in. Might have actually found a bit of a timing here. I think they're baiting this, thinking that the rotation might be coming through towards A. It'll all come down to whether they can get this pick right here, checking all of their angles, but will the timing be there for the defenders? Not sure they were aware of this.
Oh, wave scan.
Huge.
Huge. One thing to know about the wave scan is that when you throw it on one of your units but then swap to the other, it will go to your currently selected unit. So what I think happened is they threw a wave scan through one of the units on B, but then swapped to a unit at mid, so the wave scan passes through Banana, and it worked out perfectly for them.
Yeah, now they're getting the intel coming in onto the site, but they didn't see the player lurking in the corner. Big double pickup there from STEAZE. That's 5 on the round, and Relium's just there to clean it up. Wow, STEAZE holding down that B site, making it look easy and tying us up at 2-2. Ben, I gotta ask you though, we you know, 4 rounds in, dead even. I think this is basically what I expected to see for this first match, but what about you?
I think this one, I really coming into it, like I said, it was pretty hard to predict. I think maybe slight bias from, you know, watching these two go head to head on stream. I would say it's maybe a little TRUO favored, but definitely trades pretty evenly at times. I think it is pretty typical to see as well when one of the teams wins the first 2. That does trigger a pretty hefty loss bonus for the team that went down. They do get free heavy armor as well. So I think that round 3, pretty expected that it would be traded back, but awesome round 4 from STEAZE especially. I mean, I think we're in for a good game already, seeing it 2-2.
And out mid. It's going to catch a couple of bodies. Immediately destroyed. But still, information is information, right? A little bit of a pre-fire of Laura's Reaver of their own. Up to Catwalk, that doesn't find anything. A nice little smoke from the attackers. Applies pressure at mid. You can already see the defenders backing away, conceding some of that space. And STEAZE, once again, the Reaver headshot onto AIRA.
Yeah, that Reaver, of course, that one-tap headshot AR in the Tier 4 class. You're going to hear us talk about the tiers quite a bit, as that's how the weapons are divided up in this game. Of course, you do have to buy weapons for both bodies, so keep in mind, it is often people, say it's a personal preference here, and being able to hold these longer angles, I think that's where the Reaver is really going to shine, Cam.
Yeah. It's weird. The Reaver is either really good long range or short range, like an SMG. It's that mid-range spraying that, in my opinion, the other Tier 4 ARs all come out in favor of. But TRUO showing that the Cyclone can be good as well. Of course, going to swap that over to a different weapon. And as they take this site, they found an opening through that mid, that initial grab that they found early on. Finally able to spin that into a site grab. And all three members of TRUO's team are still alive. Only 4 up for the opposite side.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one here. Just something to note. So while, again, there's 4 lives, quote-unquote, there's 4 bodies still up, only really going to be able to leverage 2 angles at a time here. This retake is not going to be easy. The wave scan's going to come in, going to try and give a bit of additional intel here, but right now, Cam, it almost just looks like they're potentially just going to play for a save?
Seems to be the case. No way to break onto the site. I
think if they had that third person, I think if they had the third player, they would absolutely try and play for retake here, but I think they're just, to the point, this is still an economy-based game. It's still, again, if you've played traditional tac shooters, you have to keep in mind the money. And I think in this, they're totally going to save. Wow.
Now, so the one thing to be aware of is this game is first to 9. It's not like any other tac shooter that you can save like 5, 6, 7 rounds and still be okay. You have maybe 1 or 2 saves, maybe, before you've basically thrown the entire game. And I think the fact that it's, sure, 4 versus 5 in total lives looks close, but it was the fact that it was 2 versus 3 on the retake alongside all of that made the big difference here.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something to keep in mind here as we watch this. So yeah, in this first to 8, I think this will be I think this will be an interesting one to keep an eye on here. I don't expect to see that, candidly, ever again. All 4 of them kept the guns, kept the econ rolling. But that was so interesting because, Cam, that was really one of the first times we saw a real play off of mid control. And mid on a lot of these maps is one thing I've noticed is that mid seems to be this, like, teams either completely avoid it or it is absolutely essential to their strategy on attack.
Yeah. Do you want to give a quick correction? It is first to 8, not 9, but the point still stands. And look at this forward B main aggression. Oh, STEAZE is not going to land those headshots all the time. Really good peek by AIRA with the Tempest.
Yeah, that was a big one there. Again, I think this sort of a little bit of looking for a pick, looking to try and break up the attackers here has worked so well for Team STEAZE so far, but it finally maybe biting off a little bit more than they can chew. As like I said, now mid control going the way of Team TRUO, looking to play in towards Banana. Familiar call out, I think, for a lot. Every map's kind of, every game's got to have a banana as they're pushing in potentially towards this B site here and playing hyper defensive. Now it looks like strictly playing for the retake here potentially.
Well, when you're down a player, well, not anymore. I was gonna say when you're down a player, you can't throw that many more resources at the problem until you have more information. But a really good equalization. Now the defenders have the advantage. Wave scan going in the back of the site. The bounce off is going to catch at least one of them, but all the sprays go back and forth.
Yep, and Relium's going to have the additional information. Of course, popping the sim on the other body, having that Spectre advantage. Oh, that was not where you wanted to shift. Relium with the 5K holding down this B site with an iron fist.
So I want to call out what that stim was, why it was black and white, because with the Pinnacle International sponsor, the Adrenaline, when you activate it on one of your units, they'll be healing themselves. When you go to the other unit, they're going to have a enhanced vision and a move speed. The enhanced vision will make everything black and white except for enemies, which will be all red. I imagine we didn't see that because of, again, very early days of the Spectator. But also, yes, they were already dead. And another example of them catching the puck, what we call the puck, the Spectre puck throw transition onto the side, capitalizing on that in a really good cycle.
Yeah, and what I enjoy about this too is you can see players, in a lot of other games. Oh, a nice opening shot there from K2. you'll see going for these crazy and wild lineups. And while that is still a factor in this game, you can actually see on the mini-map where you're throwing your utility, which is something that I absolutely adore, personally. So, I love the fact that they have that additional bit of info. And now, TRUO going in with the second pickup there. And now we see already the defenders down one whole player. This is going to make this a lot tougher. As TRUO,
Hold a second. Laura is fighting back. But if anyone has played this map more than a couple of rounds, you know how dramatic that window fight can be sometimes. It's one that requires a commitment to get a unit inside because of the walls that break it up from the defender side of things. But if you can sneak up and get a backstab, it can decimate the attackers. Fortunately for the attackers here, not going to be caught off guard. But that does mean the B site is wide open. AIRA with the kill, Relin with the trade.
Yep, we're seeing the push coming in here now once again onto this B site. The attackers are going to be able to get the Zeus in play, continue to put the pressure on the B side. They are now looking to just push their way right through, picks up one kill, out of ammo, grabs the second. Massive play from K2, going off this round.
More information. Sentry bot is instantly destroyed, which you want to do because it does slow you when it tags you. But forced to come into this. It's 3-3. It's going to be the end of the half, and a really nice hold by K2, 4K at the end of the round.
Yeah, massive pickups there. And I do want to call out one prompt that you did see in the middle of that round there as we are going to the side swap. One thing to keep in mind here is that they are those reveal walls. So there is something a little bit in play here to kind of help slow down the defenders actually in certain situations so that they're not sort of pushing out too aggressively. There's obviously a timer on that. So that is something that we will have to keep an eye on throughout this. But so far, Cam, 4-3, doesn't get much more even than that.
Not really, and looking down the scoreboard, everyone's looking pretty good. Lore is lagging a touch behind, but the damage isn't too disgraceful on their end. Besides, if you want to make an excuse, they're Riker. They're getting all the information. It's all on the STEAZE and Relium to play off of it, right? Right, guys?
4 assists, Cam. They're doing just fine as the swap is coming in now. As we see Team TRUO on the defense. Just want to note, though, they are keeping their same team colors, so do not let that confuse you. The defenders are now in that lovely orange color. As we're seeing the push-up really aggressive in the mid, though, I must say.
Very aggressive. I think we saw them setting up for, again, that window play. So they had to throw your puck over to get a unit from the defender side banana into position. TRUO and Lore both getting kills for themselves. A quick peek by K2 spots a player up in nest. These are just the starting pistols. So at that range, they don't do too much damage. But, oh, quick peek out from K2. Spots another.
Yeah, and it seems like the common buy here so far is not to go for that Shiv off the start here. A lot of players opting to stay with the carbon, get that light armor, get that util. And personally, that's something I enjoy quite a lot. Having that, again, the utility is so impactful in this game. Just having that in your back pocket when you need it, it makes such a difference. And honestly, carbon smacks, man. I'm here for it. I love the fact that we have a great default pistol.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. And the thing is, the Shiv, the silenced pistol, the pistol it comes with for your other unit is going to be the Brat, which is machine pistol, which can be good, but a little more limited in its uses because of its range. This is going to be a very fast assault onto the A site.
Yeah, finding an opening here. You see it again, dropping the puck, bringing that other Spectre in. Swapping back and forth, getting the Zeus onto site. You'll see players do this a lot. They'll leave the Zeus back so that it's not getting dropped out of position, and they'll bring that Spectre in, get the plant off. But now, of course, you've got two bodies stacked in the same angle on site, which can be great, but it limits your options.
Bigger issue, it's 4 versus 4 in terms of bodies. It is 3 versus 2 with players, so a lot more guns active at the same time for the defenders, and they're retaking the site, but Lauren Relium getting the kills necessary to slow this one down. Good damage, but the impact is just not there.
Yeah, great job playing off the angles here. There's the wave scan coming in again. They know exactly where TRUO is. Has a mountain to climb, but finding the shots so far, making this a 2v1 situation still, but the Zeus is ticking down, and they just gotta play for time. Play around this Zeus, ring around the rose, and can TRUO get it done? Absolutely not. And that's gonna be the round win there for Team STEAZE. Bring this up to 4-4.
Yeah, the explosion. Oh! Only caught one of them. Just barely. We have a survivor. It doesn't make a big difference. It's only the pistol round. So they would have to rebuy armor, buy new weapons anyway. So as far as economic damage, nothing to be concerned about. But still, you had to go for it, you know?
Oh, absolutely. No, 100%.
What are you saving? A pistol?
Yeah. Go for those. Go for the kills. Absolutely. But no, that was a big one there. Again, just looking, you called it out, Cam, in the pre-show. All it takes is one tiny opening in the defense, and it is so easy to flood a site. Again, because you can just throw down your puck, bring that Spectre in. Suddenly, what could be, one or two bodies on a site very quickly become 3 or 4. Uh-oh, we're seeing the play push. Wow, that is a big stack on A.
This is 6 members all going into A main. An early aggressive play by AIRA might catch this out, or at least be in a position to respond, but back behind yellow. The Bloom Technology smoke does deal damage, and I think that's what helped Lore with the defense. Or sorry, Lore's on the attacking side, AIRA was on the defense. Regardless, the site has been taken. Not for free, they've lost a unit while doing so. But still, it's 5 versus 3 advantage now.
Yeah, big, and I like STEAZE playing towards mid as well, wanting to make sure they don't get flanked, catching on all those angles, but I don't think they have to worry too much here. Looks like Team TRUO is basically forced back into spawn at this point, trying to play through connector. Oh, STEAZE almost getting caught out there. Both players just waving as they pass here through the mid. But the push needs to come in now from short from that connector, and they are flooding the site, but William and crew, they're holding down this defense.
Oh! Big spray down at the end. Good kills going their way. Now, what, 5-4? It's still a very tight round. It still could go either way, but the closer you get, the more stakes every round has. And now, I wonder if that's going to be the name of the game on the attackers, if they're going to just have all 6 units quick hit a site one at a time, rather than being more a spread out, more a default on their initial starting positions.
What's interesting, too, is that Team TRUO really prioritized that B site. When they were on attack, they came in, they got 2 quick, really effective rounds off that, and then favored that on sort of the site here. So far, STEAZE has been the opposite. They've actually been prioritizing the A site quite a bit. Now, they're going to keep doing it. They originally lurked some players over there at B, but they brought everybody back. Cam, play it again.
There's more on the defense here. There's a blackout, my preferred AR. Ready to hold the line. It's going to be a lot more difficult to angle to cross. 2 players playing behind yellow, and they get all of the kills. 2 for K2, 1 for AIRA. They know that there are 2 players back there, so if they want to make a run over B, they could go for it. But then again, they don't have any units to transfer over there. So let's just
the heals are
try
coming
once
in.
Again.
Yeah, and they're staying topped up because you do have the support. You do have those healing abilities, which are so massive. Once you repel these pushes to keep those Spectres topped up. Now, they do have to keep an eye on Duct. But again, this is a huge advantage. The defenders ripped them apart there. And it's still 3v3 in terms of angles. But, yeah. I mean, this is going to be tough.
This is the problem with the full 6 stack on a single site compared to a more spread out default. Is because if you hit hard. But if it gets stalled, your response is very, very limited. They're slowly walking their way up mid. And they're spotting the defenders also maneuver their own units around, but they still have to make headway. We're under a minute left in timer on the site.
Yeah, keep in mind, you do have a little bit more time to work with. But the site comes out there in mid. TRUO ends up picking it up. Nice.
Ooh.
1 HP.
1 HP. Not even close.
Not even close. Able to pick up a couple there from Team TRUO, and a flawless round coming in there from them. It feels like they're finally starting to feel the footing. I think Team STEAZE is... Well, Cam, do they triple down? Do you go again, or do you play the mind games, or do you try and look for a more standard default?
I don't know. This is where, if this was, let's say we were in like year 3 of a competitive circuit and teams understood each other and there was a designated meta, maybe you would pretend to go B, but then be there at A, but just like 5 seconds delayed, and you would, with the sponsors, you'd know how to do that properly to give just enough of a fake. But here, I don't know. It looks like they are gonna. They at least have 4 of their units around B. 1 unit just outside of A main for a rotation or to catch off any lurks or whatever it is. But it looks like it is going to be onto the B side. Not as fast of a start. And AIRA's getting a bit furious, but is finding all of these kills.
Lore finally able to clap back a little bit, but I think we all knew you can't keep doing A again. They knew the B response was likely. AIRA was just there to shut that down immediately. So starting things off already on the wrong foot, but they're keeping make noise here at B, but I don't know. I feel like maybe need to try and find a pick in mid, maybe threaten the A push. There's still so much they can do here but minute 25 on the clock. You know, they got to keep an eye on this.
Listen, Paul, I know AIRA is famous for their Tempest play. That's the DMR, the semi-automatic rifle that they use. They're famous for that play, but to still bring that weapon into this range of an engagement and to get away with 2 kills, that's scary.
Should be letting that happen. I mean, that's just scary. I mean, considering how hard they stacked this B side as well, it felt like they were still calming, still trying to figure out exactly what they were looking for here, because they still moved out past that initial point a little bit willy-nilly. And again, when it's 5-5 at this point, this game is too close to have any sort of I know, you're putting these teams together, it's easy, but now I love that play there, because you obviously, a lot of the terrain in this game can be shot through. You can get those collapse. So, you know, clearing out that spot, allowing the push in through door, and now, Cam, B side, it's open. We're pushing in.
Pushing through their own smoke, gonna peek around the side, catches 2 people, only able to kill one of them. Again, AIRA, really good response. But this is going to be the site being taken. Can they hold it? AIRA, Relia might have pushed a bit too aggressively, but still need to get some space, need to create some area of control for the Zeus to go down, and it's lost in no man's land. They have to grab it.
5 seconds. No, they pushed too far. Miscommunication. Who had the Zeus? Overextended. I think it might have been Relium who overextended a little bit there with the Zeus, and then at that point, Ira's just got to hold the angle. That was, if there's a situation where that's a loss in this match, I think you can attribute it to that moment right there.
Yeah, the Zeus management is really important. As you said earlier, keeping the Zeus on one of your units that you're not playing forward with. So as you say, if you go down, you don't lose the Zeus, and you can throw your other unit with the Zeus onto the site, get that plant, stuff like that. Like Zeus management, there are options for it, but you have to control where that Zeus goes. You can't let it fall into the enemy's hands like that.
No, in a situation where, like, the Zeus is loose. You don't want that. You want it under control. No, never. But I like what I'm seeing here now, Cam. I love this. I love seeing the mini-map in between every single one of these rounds. Just seeing what is going on in the minds of these players. Already shots going out. But AIRA now in the hands of the Reaver coming out. We'll see if those one-tap headshots can continue to reign in here, as they are posturing hyper-aggressive on the B site. It has to. I feel like it has to be a mid-play at this point, because, you know, B's pretty much on lock.
I mean, everything's on lock. STEAZE is going for a slow approach. Currently jumping into window. We'll see if they want to throw their unit up to the high ground overlooking banana. The wave scan didn't catch anyone, so they might think that it's free. Ooh, it might instead be a smoke dip.
We'll see if it does come in there. It is indeed. Beautiful time to poke that out with the flash as well. Smoke shift in mid, but K2 just a little bit bigger. So much util committed to taking over banana, and so far not so good, as we're seeing the double angle being held here. That smoke shift. Again, I love the concept. Great execution, but when the moment you got to pull the trigger, just a little bit bigger from K2.
Trap destroyed. Going to be a little bit more of an entryway up mid, but that gives TRUO the information that someone is playing at mid. Catches the headshot with the Reaver once again.
Pulls him back.
Instantly saves their unit to not get refragged.
Love that. And like, when you talk about the duality system, that's it. Push forward, get the kill, recall, pull yourself back, actually take yourself in a bad situation as the rotation comes in now over on that A site. K2's here, more kills coming in, but beautiful trade now. Relium fighting back a bit. They're pushing in on the side. Gotta get that Zeus down, though, Cam. They only got 15 seconds.
Peeking out, not ADS on the Tempest of all weapons, is a bit scary. Wall gets shot through, taken down, and I mean the Zeus is kind of here, but it's not going to get planted. The round is still going to be won. And 7-5
match
lead.
Point.
Yeah. 21 for AIRA.
Yeah,
wow.
I was going to say, yeah, that is, I feel like just feeding the meat grinder that is AIRA at this B site. That is a little bit scary to deal with. And part of the problem, too, is they're not playing any one consistent angle. They're playing in through hall. They're playing in through main. So you've really got to keep an eye on that. I love the banana control shown in that last round. At that point, like, because mid, like right through mid up in intake, that is a death trap most of the time.
Yeah.
So they realize, okay, look, I got to play around banana. I just got to say, Team TRUO, player we called out, actually technically in last place down there, but I feel like the communication that we've seen from them has been really, really good.
I mean, who needs to do any work when AIRA is creating all of these openings? Initial defense. Gonna go for it again outside of B main. Why not?
God. Oh, God. And just I love the confidence at this point, because you know they're starting to feel themselves a bit as TRUO's here up against STEAZE. Oh, that's got to be heartbreaking for STEAZE at this point. You know, at this point, you don't want to go down to that lower bracket. It is only a best of one as the defenders are going off. I feel like it's starting to fall apart. Someone on Team STEAZE has got to go off, got to put this round on their back, got to make it happen.
I think the playbook on Team STEAZE is a bit thin because they got A once, then got shut down by rifles. They couldn't get into B because of AIRA being a complete monster. Now they're just kind of dry peeking into mid. They're not using a lot of utility to find any of this stuff. They're hoping that it can just win some gunfights. But that's a 50-50 at best with the way that Team TRUO is performing.
Yeah, and now it all comes down 6 players alive, and it comes down to Relium.
Won the match.
Who just gets wall banged for good measure, doesn't even see the bullet that kills him, as that is the match first one here, going to Team TRUO in a really beautiful fashion here in game number 1. Ben, that was quite a display.